I'm Brooke, and this is Gary, and we've spent the last couple weeks scuba diving and having the time of our lives aboard our floating home. Currently, we are in Fakarava, a remote atoll in the Tuamotus. We absolutely love it here, but it's time for us to pull anchor once again, because we still have a lot of French Polynesia left to see. We motored out of the anchorage and pointed One Life toward her next destination. There wasn't enough wind to keep our Genoa filled without it collapsing, so we quickly deployed our whisker pole. So one of the really cool things about the Fakarava atoll is there are actually 4 anchorages. There's the anchorage at the South Pass, where we did the shark dive, and then there's Harifa, where Gary went kiteboarding, the village, where we just left, and now we're moving again to the North Pass. The North Pass is supposed to have excellent snorkeling and diving, so we're hoping to check that out before we head through the North Pass to the next atoll. But it's really nice today. It's beautiful. Inside the lagoons, the water is flat. And it's sunny, it's downwind sailing, so we've got our pole out, and we only have about 7 knots of wind, and we're doing like 3.5 knots. Sailing should always be just like this.
Yeah, just never leave the atoll, and it'll always be nice and calm. You can't get here if you don't leave the atoll.
That's true, that's true. With the protection of the coral atoll, we had prime sailing conditions. The sea state was practically flat, so we used this as a rare opportunity to get some shots of One Life from our dinghy. When conditions are like this, we could sail on forever. But the next anchorage was only a few miles away, and it wasn't long before we had our anchor down again. The next morning, we loaded up our dive gear and headed over to the North Pass to meet our dive buddies. After diving with the sharks at the South Pass, we were all on a diver's high, and we couldn't wait to see what the North Pass had to show us. Coral atoll passes are captivating scuba dive spots due to their rich marine biodiversity and the unique topography created by the underwater passes. The passes channel nutrient-rich water, which attracts diverse marine life, including schools of colorful fish, sharks, and eels. The strong currents in these passages make for thrilling drift dives and give us divers an exhilarating underwater experience. Unfortunately, these dives only last about an hour before we run out of air. Gary signaled to me that it was time to go up, and he inflated his safety sausage. This is used to signal to our friends Kaza and Sierra that are waiting for us in their dinghy to come pick us up. In between dives, we satisfy our surface interval wait time by eating a quick boat sandwich and refilling our tanks. Exciting! Wonder if the current's gonna blast us again.
I think we should drop further out this time.
These dives may seem effortless on video, but they actually require a team effort. We make a quick dive plan as to the route we are going to take. Who will carry the dive flag? Who is diving with who? And who will be the pickup dinghy before we hit the water once again. Although we love drift dives, one of the negatives is if you see something interesting, you have to look quickly because you'll be swept away before you can take a second look. And just like that, it's over. Time to surface and wait for our pickup. So we just finished diving here at the North Pass, and it was pretty cool. We did 2 dives, and both of the dives there was quite a bit of current, so we were ripping along, but it was really fun. We saw some sharks and lots of grouper, a couple eels. But anyway, I think we're just going to take it easy the rest of the day and relax because tomorrow we're going to sail to the next atoll. Let's see what Gary's doing.
Yes.
Oh, you're on
It
camera.
takes a lot. Oh, hey.
Hi!
We're here at the North Pass in Fakarava, and the last 24 hours have been dive mission. So we did a couple dives today through the pass, drift dives. We drop outside the pass on incoming tide, and it just rips you through the pass. At first we go down pretty deep and there's a wall to follow, but then the current picks up and you just get swept into the atoll, and there's coral and fish and everything all over the place. It's a pretty epic experience. It was a little different than South Pass, not quite as steep, and you don't just follow like one wall the whole time. It turns into a whole bunch of like drop-offs and little cuts and ridges, and it was really neat. It was a great couple of dives. We had a nice afternoon relaxing, chilling in the hammock, and I think we're gonna head over to Delos for some sundowners now. Margaritas. We're gonna pretend like we're back in Mexico because
Why not?
why not? So we've left Fakarava, and today we're heading about 15 miles to the next atoll called Toau, and I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. There's only 4 letters, and it's still difficult to pronounce. But Fakarava was absolutely epic. Some of the best diving we've ever experienced, and probably some of the best diving we will ever experience. The drift dives are just incredible, and Fakarava was a lot of fun. The town was a lot of fun. It was nice to have friends around. We met up with some old friends that we haven't seen in a long time. But it's time to keep moving because we're down to about a month and a half left on our visas here in French Polynesia. We only get 3 months, and then we've got to be out. So I think right now our plan is to head to this next atoll for a couple days and wait for a good weather window to sail about 2 days down to Tahiti and then visit the Society Islands. It's a beautiful day for sailing though. We've got 10 knots right on the beam. Our friends are in front of and behind us. I think there's 4 of us headed to the next atoll today. And it really doesn't get much nicer. We're heeled over pretty good, but it's a day sail, so we don't mind. And we're doing almost 7 knots, so we'll be there real fast.
Well, we just made it to the next atoll in Toau, and I jumped in quick to check the anchor. It's set, but it's really tricky anchoring here because of all of the bommies everywhere. So our anchor's in sands, but we had to float our chain to lift it up off the bottom so that we don't tangle it on any bommies or ruin any of the coral. But Gary's gonna go in to take another look. We really didn't film much on our sail because we ended up doing a last minute Zoom call, or come sail away with us with our patrons. And that was really fun. We've not done one of those while we were sailing before, and it actually turned out really nice. So yeah, gonna go and check it out.
You said there's a shark.
There's a shark, and there's a knobhead wrasse.
So I should bring my spear gun.
You're gonna spear the wrasse?
They're a delicacy in China.
Yeah.
But no, I think they're probably prime for Ciguatera.
Yeah.
Since they're big and old.
Yeah, I think it was either a white tip or a nurse shark.
With some strong winds in the forecast, we decided not to stay at this spot for too long. We pulled up the anchor and disconnected the floats one at a time as they came up. There was just enough wind behind us to roll out the Genoa for an absolute dream of a glide across the atoll.
We're supposed to get some south winds, and we wanted a little bit better protection, so we moved over to the other side of the island. And it's actually pretty cool because there's moorings here that we're able to hop on for free, so that's really helpful because we don't have to check the chain, and we don't have to avoid the bommies or the coral heads. So Gary's in the water now checking our mooring to make sure that we're all set. The storm that's predicted, it's only supposed to bring wind, but we've heard that when winds blow out of the south here, they can blow quite strong. So we just want to make sure we're good and set for the next couple days so we can settle into this place. And yeah, we probably won't do much the next few days. Probably spend a lot of the time on the boat, just because when it's choppy outside, it's not fun to be running around in the dinghy or swimming. And there's really nothing else to do here but swim and hang out on the beach. So it should be, the next few days should be pretty good and chill.
We always prefer to dive in and check every mooring that we tie one life up to. See if you can hold your breath with me as I free dive down for this inspection. Ready? Here we go. I usually head straight for the bottom and then check everything out as I work my way back up to the surface. To equalize my ears as I descend, I pinch my nose and exhale lightly against it. This adds air to my inner ears to balance against the increasing water pressure as I go deeper and deeper. At 41 feet down, we've reached the bottom. Still holding your breath?
Sometimes, moorings are a giant concrete block or other heavy object, but this looks to be a helix-type mooring, which is screwed down deep into the sand. As I ascend, I check each link, shackle, and swivel for any signs of corrosion, wear, or looseness. The shackles should all be safety wired so they can't come undone. I also look at all the rope sections for any chafing or any signs of damage to the splices. This float here below the surface keeps the mooring from getting tangled on itself. I check the last shackle and work my way up the final line to the surface. Are you still holding your breath? Well, you can now breathe. Let us know in the comments below if you made it or if you ran out of breath.
Good?
Yeah, it's a sand anchor.
Oh, it's an anchor in sand?
It's a sand, like one of the things that's spiraled down into the sand.
Yeah.
And then it's chained up to a splice, and then a swivel, and then this float, and then goes to that float.
Okay.
It all looks good.
So you feel comfortable on it?
What?
You feel comfortable on it?
Yeah, it all looks good.
Okay. I set the anchor alarm as well.
Okay. We are settled in here in Toau, which is going to be our last atoll in the Tuamotus, and the Tuamotus have been really special. It's a place that's just ideal for living on a boat and cruising. It's super comfortable. It's so flat in these atolls inside. It just makes it super nice. There's hardly any bugs here because there's always a good breeze blowing, and we've really enjoyed it. We're going to hang out here for the next few days and wait for this weather system to pass. Hopefully it doesn't get too crazy. We don't think we're going to get heavy winds. It's just that the winds are going to clock around from the north to the west to the south, and that doesn't make for nice sailing. So after that passes, we're going to look for the next opportunity to leave here and sail to Tahiti, which is about 2 days away. I think it's around 250 nautical miles from here. Hopefully we have decent enough weather here to hang out, enjoy it, enjoy the beach maybe a little bit, get the boat cleaned up. We've been in dive mode, so we haven't done too much work on the boat. So we've got a lot of maintenance and cleaning to do, but this will be a good spot to do it.
Well, it's been kind of a rainy, yucky, cloudy day, so we really haven't been off the boat. We did laundry, we cleaned, we did some editing, but tonight our friends are going to come over, so we're going to have 8 people plus a toddler on board One Life, so it's going to be quite cozy, but it'll be really fun to have all our friends over because tomorrow we're setting sail once again. Wow, so good.
So I can have these pieces?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you so much. That's really sweet of you.
Whoa.
So today we're going to go ahead and start making our way to the next stop. So we have about 260 miles to Moorea. It's going to take us about an hour. One day, 21 hours if we can maintain a speed of around 5.3 knots. The winds are going to be they're predicted to be between 10 and 15 knots, but the swell is going to be pretty big, so about 3 meters, which is like 9 to 10 feet. So we're just going to see how it is when we get out there, but we've got everything secured down below. And we're going to raise our main and start making our way out through this cut. It's been a bit since we've done a couple overnights. Well, I guess since we got to the Tuamotus. we made it out of the pass. It wasn't too bad.
Pass was fun.
Yeah. And so now we're out here in the ocean. One Life's doing our thing. There's some big ocean swell, and it's just hitting us like just forward of our beam of it. But we only have about 12 knots of wind, so pretty comfortable, really.
It's perfect. The wind's right on the beam, and it should stay like this according to the forecast. So fingers crossed it stays the same. If it does, we'll have a nice easy sail to Moorea.
Yeah, but Toau was our last island in the Tuamotus, and we really enjoyed our time there. But for me, I think I'm ready to keep moving. What do you think? Are you ready to leave?
Never ready to leave. I could spend another couple months there easily. It's a huge area, and we saw, I don't know, less than a quarter of the atolls there.
Yeah.
So there's always another trip now. There's always another lap.
Yep, that's right. So it's a little cloudy, and it's actually pretty cool out. I have on like yoga pants and a long sleeve shirt. It's been a while since I've had long sleeves on. But we're just gonna get settled in here. It's late afternoon, and it's a bit cloudy, so I doubt there'll be a good sunset, but that's okay. I'm actually sleepy.
Can we get some sleep? I'm on watch. Good night.
Wait.
Well, the sun just went down and Brooke's down below getting some sleep. I'm going to put us into night mode now. So there's a few things that we have to do every night when the sun goes down. The first is turn on our navigation lights. I'm going to turn on the tricolor lights up on top of the mast because we are under sail. And then I'm going to dim all of our gauges. I'm going to turn on our lights down below in the cabin. We have these nice blue lights that help us see around when we're walking around down there. And then I'm going to dim the chart plotter as well and make sure everything is cleaned up. And I usually give the deck a check as well, just to make sure that there's no lines loose or any problems that need to be taken care of, because once it gets dark, it's a lot harder to see those things. And the last thing I need to do is go bring in our fishing lines. So I actually just woke Brooke up and told her that I'm going to go back on the stern deck because I want her to be aware that I'm leaving the cockpit. I'm going to throw on my life jacket, go back and reel in the lines. We'll put them out again tomorrow and maybe we'll have better luck. Everything's taken care of. I'm back in the cockpit, and the last thing I'm going to do is let Brooke know that I'm off the stern deck and settled back into the cockpit, because we don't ever leave the cockpit, especially at night, without letting the other person know. That way, if we do have a problem or fall overboard, the other person is not sleeping for the next 3 hours and then trying to come back and find us, because that's just not going to work. So yeah, safety first. We're settled in for the night. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful night sail. I'm looking forward to it.
It's about 8 p.m. and Gary and I just did a night watch shift. And we had cereal for dinner. I didn't do any passage food prep. I think I've learned since our sail across the Pacific that prepping food isn't really necessary. We always have something that we can eat, and I used to stress out so much about preparing food. And I'm finally learning that, yeah, it's nice to have food ready occasionally, but you know what? Cereal is good too. And we have nuts and cheese and meat cut up. So anyway, we'll survive. We might not have fancy meals this passage, but that's okay. I didn't spend any time in the kitchen beforehand, so it's good. But yeah, the wind is starting to really die down. We have between 5 and 12 knots of wind. So the sails are flopping around a little bit. I'm just trying to keep the winds on the beam and keep us moving as well as we can. Hopefully the wind picks up a little bit more. That would be great. But if not, I'll have to bring in the Genoa and do a little bit of motor sailing. We are hoping to average 5 knots, and we're doing between 4.5 and 5.5 right now. So as long as we can do this, we'll just keep on sailing like we are. But anyway, that's it for now. It's a beautiful morning here today on the Pacific Ocean. We're doing about 5 knots, and Gary just woke up and put the fishing lines out. And we actually have what appears to be a catamaran off to our port side. And it's kind of crazy because sometimes it disappears under the swell. But the conditions are perfect. Like I said, there is big swell, but it's so spaced out that it's not a problem at all, and it's actually quite comfortable. So I'm gonna go down and get some rest, and Gary's gonna chill up here and hopefully catch a fish. Yeah.
It's beautiful this morning.
It is
Really doesn't
beautiful.
get much nicer.
Yeah, this is an easy sail right now, and I'm gonna enjoy it because you never know when things are gonna hit the fan out here.
It's about 8 p.m. and Brooke just woke up, and we decided we're going to go ahead and take down the Spinnaker. It's still pretty calm. There's only about 12 knots of true wind, and the sky is pretty clear. The moon's up a little bit still, but it's going to be setting soon. But it's always safer to just have the Genoa out at night, and I don't think it'll be much difference in speed between the two. So we're going to play it safe before I go down and sleep and drop the Spinnaker. So we just turned on all the deck lights, and we'll turn down wind to use the main to shield it a little bit and block the wind to it, and then I'll pull down the sock and shove it down the forward hatch. Hopefully it goes smoothly because it's dark and trouble's not fun at night. Ready?
Ready. But of course, we had trouble, and before Gary was able to douse it, the Spinnaker backwinded and wrapped around the forestay.
What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
The Spinnaker's flopped. Oh, you gotta steer it. David, you rocked it. Did you drive it? Ah. Turn back downwind. Okay, go back now. Oh shit. Put the wind back on it.
I am.
Okay.
Okay, turning downwind.
Keep the sheet.
Keep.
Take it off.
All the way off. After that ordeal, we were able to get back to our peaceful evening. Good morning. Well, we had an uneventful evening, and yesterday was so beautiful out the whole day that we didn't really film much. We were just enjoying the sail. But we have about 38 miles to go, and it's pretty cloudy out. I can make Tahiti out, but we'll have to get closer before I can show you guys. I don't think the camera will pick it up yet. We're just coasting along. I wish we were going a little faster. Right now we're only doing like 4.5 knots. Really need to be doing 5 to get in by dark. But yeah, these short sails, well, I shouldn't say short sails, but just like an overnight or two, they're really tough because your body doesn't get into a rhythm and you're not really able to sleep on your off time because your body's like, yeah, it's not used to sleeping at odd hours. So I'm exhausted, actually. It's hard for me to fall asleep last night, and then our watch schedule got off a little bit. So that makes it even more difficult. So the clouds are burning off now, and I have a pretty good shot of Tahiti. And we're actually going to sail around Tahiti and keep going to the island of Moorea. And the reason for that is because it is our friend Max on Untied's birthday. So a bunch of us are gonna gather in a bay tomorrow for some festivities. We're not sure exactly what he has plans or what he wants to do, but either way, it'll be super fun to be hanging out with all of our friends. And we've not seen Max in a pretty long time. We first met him in Curacao in the Caribbean, and then we were hanging out with him in Colombia, and then in Mexico. So we've had a lot of good times with Max. And if you're not familiar with this channel, go check it out. It's Untied, and he has some really cool content. But anyway, yeah, here is Tahiti.
Okay, it's down.
Well, we just dropped anchor here in Moorea, and there's a ton of boats in here, and a lot of them are our friends, so I think we're gonna have a super good time while we're here. And yeah, we're just getting the boat tidied up after our long sail. But overall, it was a great sail, and yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about being in a new spot. And with that, we will leave you right here in the Society Islands. Hope to see you next time as we begin to explore Moorea. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching.